That Tibbs? Tibbs was Joyce's beloved ancient cat. I knew him mainly as the purring thing on the other side of the door that drove my dog into a snarling frenzy. She shook her head. "What do you think could have done that?" Joyce said. "I have no idea. A dog? A raccoon? Where's the rest of him? When did you find it?" "I was going over to wash my hands after I spilled some detergent. I think it must be one of the bodega cats, don't you? Maybe he crawled in through the vent and his leg got caught. I always tell them they should give the cats to a shelter. It's not a pet store. But they don't give a crap what some old nutcase says. Of course, if the health inspector ever went in there—" I was still too much under the influence of the leg to notice, but this was, I realized later, the first moment in which something in Joyce's manner, a certain fretful rambliness, should have told me that the leg didn't just disgust her, it frightened her. "You want me to get you a roll of paper towels?" she said. It hadn't occurred to me that a condition of her showing me the leg was that I would be the one to pick it up. Such was my attachment to being seen as agreeable, though, that I didn't protest, or not visibly. She handed me a roll from the shelf by the laundry machines. I knelt down. There is not, it turns out, any thickness of paper towel that can prevent you from feeling the queasy weight and shape of a severed limb. I rushed the horrible bundle into the trash can by the dryers, and with Joyce trailing behind me, I made my way back upstairs, my laundry forgotten, holding my hands away from my body like a surgeon drenched in blood. "We should probably email the building," I said by way of goodbye, standing outside Joyce's door. "I'll do it," she said, more quickly than she needed to. "I'll write to the board. Thanks for your help." 2. Joyce emailed me at 10 o'clock that night, the first time she'd ever written to me directly. I had at that point only told the story of the cat's leg to my wife, Elise, who had been so horrified by it that she'd insisted I wash my hands again immediately, as if the telling might have recontaminated me. "Ben, thanks again for your help in the basement earlier. I certainly wouldn't have wanted to face that on my own. There's something I'd like to talk to you about. Any chance you'd be willing to knock on my door sometime tomorrow night? Thanks, and see you soon, Joyce." "I bet she wants you to run for the board," Elise said. This made a certain amount of sense. Joyce was, in addition to her other building duties, a relentless launcher of intrigues, and I just had the misfortune of drifting onto a radar screen. Our building, a 4-story brick co-op in Windsor Terrace, was more or less evenly divided between people who'd lived there for decades and people who had Filson bags and fervent opinions about podcasts. And like many members of the first group, Joyce was convinced, not unreasonably, that the second group had it out for her. She was forever in search of benign newbies willing to do her bidding. So when I knocked on her door after dinner the next night, it was with a distinct lack of dramatic expectation. I heard some activity inside, a radio being turned off, possibly a dish pile toppling in the sink, and then Joyce came to the door wearing a pale gray muumuu and slippers. She looked embarrassed and somehow girlish, as if she might have summoned me for a date. "I hope this isn't screwing up your night," she said. I assured her truthfully that it wasn't. It's always bizarre to be in an apartment that is not yours, but is laid out exactly like yours. Her refrigerator was covered in yellowing menus held in place by magnets bearing messages about carbon monoxide and recycling. Her windowsill featured an array of dry and spindly houseplants. There were cork coasters on the table and a brown ceramic bowl of questionable candies. I took a seat in an armchair by the bricked-up fireplace. "Want some tea?" she asked, shuffling into the kitchen. Before she came and sat down on the couch, we sat facing each other like therapist and patient. She handed me a mug in which a rusty, half-crushed ball contraption bobbed. This tea ball, like many things in the apartment, would have looked at home in a cardboard box beside a doll's head and a 1997 Zaggett's Guide at a stoop sale. "So you're a writer?" she said, with an intonation that suggested a question but wasn't one quite. I admitted that I was. "Writers have always impressed the hell out of me. I studied English Lit for a little, before I got into painting. Used to tell everybody I wanted to be a playwright. Little Miss Tennessee Williams." There was a silence, during which she seemed to be gathering her courage for a change of direction. She leaned forward.